Hello, it's Laurie again here and welcome back for another video. This time we're at Interlagos in Sao Paulo, Brazil, where we'll be having a couple of Group 3 races, a couple of sprint races, which we will be driving the Corvette C7 in. As many of you know, the Corvette is a legendary GT car, has won multiple championships in many iterations over the years. For this first race we will start in 5th position, quite a mixed field of car. But we'll see how we'll get on here. So as we get underway for the first of 2 races in Sao Paulo, we've got quite a mixed bag of a grid here. The track itself is kind of a lap of 2 halves, where you have quite a long straight which requires lots of power, or 2 long straights in fact, but then quite a technical infield section which requires good handling. So people tend to go for one of 2 philosophies for this. We're in the Corvette, obviously, which is quite a well-balanced car. It's easy on the curbs, distributes power quite well, so we'll see how we'll get on with that. So we negotiate the Senna S's quite well. We remain in our 5th place, hunting down the Nissan GTR in 4th. So we come up to turn 4, we kind of make a bit of a hash of it, go far too deep. We invite the Swede in the Porsche to have a run at us up the hill into Ferradura. We try to take a bit of a defensive line. He's on the outside of us. I think we get a little bit of a nudge there up the back side, but you know, we're all still in position. He gives it a bit of a go down the inside and does hit us wide. We pick up a penalty for that, which I think is a little bit unjust, as you know, he went into the side of us there, but we'll have to live with that. We remain in 4th place though, so that's the key thing. And we are still on the tail of the Nissan, now in 3rd place. There was a spinner out of turn 4 on the first lap, so we did gain place. I think he actually rage quit as well, which is not so good for his driver rating, of course. As we can actually have a look at it, he gets on the curb coming out of turn 4 and he kind of sticks his foot in and just drops it on the AstroTurf and everyone goes past us. Now here's the Swede in 5th position at the time, goes right inside of us, but he ends up going on the inside of the corner on the grass, so he loses quite a few positions, so it didn't really work out for him. Interlagos invites a lot of close racing. Races here tend to be quite entertaining, mainly because of the ample opportunities, overtaking opportunities that are offered around this track. There's 2 very, very long straights which invite the slipstream, of course, and a very technical section which allows for a number of different lines to be used. We serve our penalty, which will put us in the clutches of the man in 5th place, CM Devil Machine, but we'll try our best to kind of keep that gap and chase down the Nissan in 3rd position. A little bit of a train is forming up ahead. The Porsche in the lead, very good in the technical section here, but tends to lack on the pit straight and on the back straight, where it doesn't have the top speed of the Nissan or the Lamborghini in 2nd position. The Lamborghini is famed for being a very, very quick car, but also a bit of a pig to drive at times. It has a very sharp edge and you can kind of drive it over the limit quite quickly. It's not a particular favourite of mine, so I tend to avoid it, but it can be good if you hook it up for the 1 quick lap in qualifying which you need. So as we're coming up the hill to the start finish line again at the end of lap 2 to begin lap 3, there's a change of the lead up ahead of us, and the Nissan does make a little bit of a gap on us on the straight, but as we fail to make the apex completely for turn 1, we don't tend to lose too much time, which is good. The Lamborghini in front is taking a bit of a terrible line there. He's picked up a half-second penalty for what I can only imagine is track limits. And the Nissan is going to have a sniff. He thinks better of it, but then again, he misses the apex for a 2nd time, runs completely off the track, has a bit of a tank slapper coming back on, and will pick up another half-second for track limits. It's very strict track limits. Penalty zone there on turn 4. I drive it off the track at Ferradura, trying to, I don't know what I was doing there, probably trying to take him around the outside, but it was never going to happen. Get a bit of a wiggle on as he gets a wiggle on, as we're joined for company by the Greek in the pink Mercedes AMG. And at the moment, the German in third in the Lamborghini looks like he's struggling quite a bit with the handling of his car. So we're going to try our best to get a bit of a run on him. He goes wide coming out of Mergulo, and as we come out of Junsao, he gets a bit of a wiggle on as well. So we're going to try and get the run on him up the straight, up the hill to the pit straight. We make a pig's ear of this. We take the curb too much on the inside and end up getting into some banging down the straight because of the unsettled car. The Greek is now in fourth. He has a good run at him down the inside. He does well, in fact, because the German in the Lamborghini makes a mistake. He takes that third position. We try to stick it around the outside of turn 3. Again, the Lamborghini really runs wide, so we are forced wide ourselves, and we are now in the clutches of the Porsche in fourth position now. It takes us down into turn 4. He runs a little bit wide. We can have a look up the inside, going up the hill towards Ferradura. He has the position in the drive at the moment. We're going to go for a bit of a lunge here down the inside. We bang wheels a bit, and we bullied him out of the fourth position there, and he's lost not one but 2 more places to send him down to 7th. A bit of a harsh corner there. But we are still closely followed by the Lamborghini in 5th position, who we need to be a bit wary of because his driving style is a little bit erratic. As we come down through Mergulo towards Junsao, he gets a little bit wide, I think, and we're going to have a shock here as he zips ahead of us as he cuts the corner of Junsao completely. At the time, I thought it was a bit of an attempt at a ram, but we'll see what happened there. As we have a look back from the Swede's Porsche, look at the battle ahead, we can see that, you know, I'm on the wrong side of the Lambo there, and he's going to quite rightly take the inside line. He's got a better line there, and we're 3 abreast going down here. He tucks behind the Lamborghini as he ghosts, gets a bit of the slipstream, takes the position, but as we go up into Ferradura, we bang wheels ever so slightly. He runs a little bit wide. The Lamborghini goes ahead of him once more, and just for good measure, a Mustang pushes him even further wide, and I think he takes exception to this. Hits him back straight away, so no love lost between those two. And then as we have a look at the Lamborghini from Haseman, who comes very wide on the AstroTurf, just completely loses it, and there's a bit of a passenger there, so nothing he could have done. It's just, you know, as we mentioned earlier, that Lamborghini is very hard to drive, and it was quite close from taking us out as well, but luckily he didn't. So as we rejoin ourselves on the last lap of race 1, we kind of pegged the gap to 5th position, GBR underdog, and you know, these sprint races are quite hard to gain time on in such a short period of time, so I think 3rd is going to be a bit out of the question. However, they are battling close, so you never know, a penalty or they could take each other out. There is always opportunity there, so you've always got to be on it. As we come up the hill for the last time in race 1, it's been quite an entertaining race, to be fair. Lots of fair battling at times, a couple of petulant hits, but we did have to get our elbows out a couple of times. So we do finish in 4th position, set our best lap on the last lap where we had no one around us. So we had a good time for race 1, starting 5th, so we thought we'd try again, but the matching gods weren't on our side, and we start 15th for this one, so it's going to be a bit of a tough one, but we'll see if we can have some fun. Always going to be hard to make a decent number of positions up in a sprint race, especially around such a chaotic and tight track as this. We miss a gear going across the start line, so we're starting particularly well. Take a very defensive and kind of conservative line into turn 1. For the first lap, right at the back, we don't have to be too careful with people coming from behind us, but didn't want to run into anyone at the front as it just invites penalties. At this time I was using the DualShock 2 controller, so some of the gear shifts and cornering and general throttle brake control is a little bit unsophisticated and not cultured, I think, as if you would describe it in a football player's quality of kick. Mine's definitely not cultured in that sense. Anyway, we come into turn 8 for the first time, go through Pinarino with cars too wide. So we kind of slot in behind the Aston Martin here. It's there's going to be a theme that unravels in this race, which is just trains and trains of cars changing order all the time. As you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're 8th in a line here before there's a little bit of a gap to the next car. So it's going to be tight, close, and contact racing, I will imagine. So as we're coming up at the end of lap 1, the Aston Martin of the Spaniard is getting close and personal with Paulus of the Netherlands. We're going to have a look around the outside, kind of stay out of the way of it really, because going into turn 1, likelihood is there is going to be contact. This is a driver rated B lobby with S sportsmanship rating, so it's not the the higher echelons of Gran Turismo online racing, but you'd expect the sportsmanship to be there quite a bit. I say that as I give the Aston Martin a little bit of a tap when he runs wide to take that 14th spot. So not the cleanest of moves for myself there, but we progress penalty free nonetheless, which is always helpful. Obviously, you don't want to ride it up too much on that sort of thing. But we slot into 14th, and we will quickly join the train of cars ahead of us, which is currently headed by one of the Porsches. We are behind a very fetching Racing Point now inspired Mercedes AMG. We come down into Magulo for the second time. We're just trying to get ourselves into a good position, really, get some good drives off the corners. The Audi in 9th position, the Finn, has got a 3-second penalty, which you can only imagine is for some contact. So as we all go line astern and side by side up the hill for the second time, two Mercedes are getting themselves in a little bit of a drag race, fighting for the slipstream of the 11th place Irishman ahead. The German in 13 takes his slot behind the Dutchman, but we're going to have a bit of a chain reaction here, and it's a little bit of, well, it's a pinball machine is the only way you can really describe it. We somehow managed to contact Given, get through into what's now 11th place, get a kick, well, tap on the side, and as you can see, it's 3 wide. It's just chaos down into turn 4, but we'll concede the position to the German in the Mercedes, take 11th. We've got the Irishman behind us, all still very, very close to call at this stage. It just takes one error, one little mistake to end up off the track and the race is ruined, but we'll see what we can do here. The Irishman's going to take a lunge down the inside of us. We don't come off too badly. We keep our 12th position, although he does get a 1-second penalty, which I can imagine is for the contact, maybe some track limits as well. But for whatever reason, he decides to lose his head completely and takes the German out, which I can only imagine is for what we're going to see here. So the German, as we ride with now, just completely wallops him up the backside. And this is that pinball effect that we just had. As you can see, how no more penalties got given out for that is beyond me. Here is his move down the inside of me. Very robust move, we'll say, for that one, getting his elbows out. And then, as we follow the 10th place Mercedes to Vico de Pato, he's just going to clean him out inside. So, not sure what that's about, but hey ho. 8th and 9th, while we're looking at that, we're having a bit of a battle, and the whole group has managed to catch up to the back of them. All of it in vain for the 9th place Mercedes, though, because he's got a 4-second penalty, which will drop him right to the back of this group as he serves that. Now we've got the Lamborghini ahead of us. Again, the Lamborghini, very, very fast car, so it's going to be hard for us to outdrag him in the straight line, but hopefully we can make some progress through the tight, twisty infield section. We're still joined by the Spaniard in the Aston Martin behind us, the Red Bull Racing liveried Aston Martin. Again, a very good car. I mean, these front-engined GT3 cars, all quite similar. We have a spinner in front of us who was the leader. He's now dropping all the way back down to 10th place, which he's ruined his own race, and we'll see why. He's just dropped it coming out of Pinarino. He's got it on the grass and it's switched ends. And in a sprint race where everyone's so tight and close together, he's just dropped further and further back, which is a shame for him. He rejoins in 9th, however, so we'll see if he can keep that. We're in 8th. We've got a bit of a gap to the cars behind us with 1 lap to go. Barring any mistakes, I'm sure we are in good step to keep that 8th position. The driver in the Lamborghini ahead of us. We're in a Lamborghini sandwich at the moment. As we see a bit of action behind us. I don't know whether you caught that out the corner of the screen there, but the Lamborghini, who is the 9th now, just got absolutely walloped by the Spaniard in the Aston Martin. For God knows why, but he was definitely in his sights and he absolutely cleans him out. There was no chance of him breaking there. And then there's a bit of afters as well as they get back going. So I'm not sure whether this is love lost from the previous race or whether something happened, but it seemed quite vindictive. So answers on a postcard as to why that happened. I didn't see anything as they rejoined after he spun, so who knows? Who knows? It's a mystery to us. As we will rejoin the action halfway through lap 5, so the last lap of the race, we've got a gap to the car behind. We've got about a 2-second gap to the car ahead of us, so we're not going to really be able to do much, I think, in these last few corners. But a couple of quite exciting races at Interlagos. First race started 5th, finished 4th, so gained 1 position, and then in this race we started 15th and are coming home to finish in 8th position, so a good net gain of 7 places there. Yes, it was a bit rough and ready around the edges, some elbows came out at times, but exciting race nonetheless, and if you can't have fun, what can you do? But we try to keep it clean as always. But that's it for another video. Thanks ever so much for watching. Please feel free to subscribe and like, and we will see you again next time. Thank you.